Hello everybody. I'm here to do part 4 of the Valentine decor tour. This is going to be of the full kitchen. Again, I apologize, it's cloudy because it's raining off and on, but I wanted to go on and get this done because it's supposed to rain for the next several days. So let's start over here. You can see there are still a few blooms left on the Christmas cactus. It's been wonderful this year. And this cupboard over here, y'all did see it in a separate video, and I'm really enjoying it. So if you want to see everything up closer, go on and watch that video. I think that's part 1. I love mixing vintage and new items. I don't particularly have a style. If I like something, I'm going to use it. My taste is very eclectic, I guess you could say. And of course, you're going to see some Annalise on the table. There's a sweet one. There's that adorable bunny, and just to bring him to looking a little bit like Valentine's, I tied that red and white twine around his neck. There's another one of those sweet little vintage Valentines. This one's made in Germany. And the ironstone pitcher. And I wanted to show you something that I found. I was looking through some boxes of stuff. And this box here with the adorable bees, Love is Contagious. John painted this in 1981. That was back near when we were first, I guess it was when we were first starting to take toll painting classes. But look what a great job he did on those bees. Just did a fantastic job. So I'm going to use that for Valentine's, and I'm going to use it when I put my bee stuff out because it's so adorable. I'd forgot all about it. And in the 2-tier tray, there's a Dunn mug in the back, but most everything else is vintage except for, like the hearts and that kind of thing. That is a Lowney cocoa spoon. That's a vintage piece, and the little vintage Valentines. And my little wire baskets. Down there is another super cute vintage googly eye Valentine. That's what they called it when it looked like their little eyes were blaring out. And back here is another tier tray with lots of my plants. And I think this is an extra special little Annalise. And more of my ironstone and old silverware. And that adorable set of salt and pepper shakers that we got a couple years ago at yard sales. And some of my vintage pink flower frogs and plants. And some of my wonderful old yellowware bowls and utensils and cookie cutters and rolling pins and more bowls, a pantry box, and some of my plants. You can see all the snow finally melted, except for in a couple places where I had shoveled it and it was a little bit thick. Those are vintage heart cutters. Right here, that's the vintage chicken print that John redid for me. You don't find vintage chicken pictures too often. And those are those paintings we've had for years. Just love them. I brought the ladder back. And I have some of my whisk brooms and some of the little graters. Those would have been to have grated probably nutmeg or cinnamon sticks. My rooster tail. I kept that lunchbox out and have an old sifter and the little bird with a crown, because y'all know I love crowns, and the jar buttons, and one of the coffee grinders and a crock. I'm going to try to back up over here so I can give you a good view of this, if I can do it without falling over John's cord to the computer. There again, there's old and new through here. And there's that smaller version of the Pauline Campanella print that we got. Much easier for me to hang. And that's where I put the spice drawer that we got in the fall. I'm loving it. And one of the old scales right there with another super cute Anna Lee holding a cinnamon bun with a bee on it. And there's one of my cow creamers sitting on a pantry box. And that gorgeous rooster that we got a couple years ago at Home Goods. And my chicken salt and pepper shaker and my hen on the nest. And back there's the vintage wire basket that collapses. If you pull it back up, it makes a basket shape. And precious Anna Lee's. Just love the little ones especially. And that one's on the old scale. And inside the little Hobby Lobby cabinet, there's another one of my cow creamers. Dunn, more of my hens on the nest. And another one of the cow creamers. And right here is where I put those wonderful donuts. They're on a vintage plate. And there's one of my butter presses. And my brick mold is holding an Anna Lee and that precious little ladybug card that our friend and subscriber sent us in a vintage box. And that's my one and only blue sky Valentine house. And another adorable Anna Lee. And that picture is made in Italy. And there's one of the hearts that John embellished. So you can see all of that. Have some of my copper pieces down there and my vintage yellowware bowls. And on this shelf, you're going to see lots of Johanna Parker and lots of vintage. Up on top, I have 3 of my coffee meals and just a piece of architectural detail above it. I'll come closer. Of course, the Dundee marmalade and that super cute ladybug. And there's those little elves. I left those out. And more of the Johanna Parker. And that's one of the little Boyd's Bear pieces. And back in the back, behind the Johanna Parker, those are some vintage Valentines. They're just so cute. And of course, y'all know I love the Johanna Parker. More of my marmalade crocks. And I put this little adorable bear holding a chocolate heart under my tiny little cloche. Another Boyd's Bear piece. And this is one of my favorite of the Valentine Johanna Parker. And the candy hearts. And down here is another one of those vintage wire baskets. And I kept the red Christmas vase out. I just turned the Christmas word to the back so that I could use it to hold the pearl-handled fish knives. And I brought the creamer with the pie edgers there, pie crimper, and Dunn. And this is another wonderful vintage Valentine. I believe that one was Germany too. And under this cloche, I put my one and only heart ice cream mold with some of that paper thread I made like Michelle at Uniquely Vintage You makes, and a sweet little vintage Valentine. And there's another vintage Valentine right there. And here in my little vintage oval plate, I put those awesome little faux sweets that Stacy sent me at Blissfully in Season. Love them. And there's a super cute Johanna Parker towel. And y'all saw all of this covered an area in a video I did today. So if you want to see it up closer, you can go check out that video. I will probably start on the living room either tomorrow or the next day. Our friend Janet's coming over in a little while, and that's her birthday bag. You'll see this tree, the front of it, when I do the living room tour. It's sitting in one of the vintage boxes, and I have some of the sweet little vintage Valentines all around it. And on that stand, I kept the Pyrex bowls, and that's a Terremoto pitcher down there. And in the primitive toolbox, I still have a lot of the old wonderful wooden tools, and I just added that red heart and a Valentine towel. Kept those whisk brooms hanging right there. I put my huge pickle jar up there sitting next to that giant spice tin. And down here, Mr. Piggy had to make his appearance again, and he'll be out for a while. And in this ironstone pitcher that Janet got us for Christmas, I put some of the vintage wooden utensils with a beautiful piece of lace. And I have the butter presses and butter molds, and that's a vintage Valentine. And my chicken lamp that I've had forever. I put one of my pig cutting boards right there. And y'all saw this area. This was part 2, filled with lots of vintage goodies. And of course the thermoses and the old scale. I'm not on the stool, so you're not getting as good a view as you did when I did this separately. But I love this shelf John made years ago. Such a wonderful display space. And you saw this in that same video, what I did with the box. I love it. And my rooster prints that came from Tuesday morning years ago. And the Billy Jacobs that came from a yard sale a couple years ago. Brought out more of the spice tins. And this teeny tiny Dros Cocoa, that was a sample tin. That is a super rare tin. Really hard to find. The Monarch is a sample too, but it's not as tiny as that one. And then there are more of the Dros and more of my spice tins. And some Ray Dunn. And I put my coffee filters in this vintage crock. Have the marshmallow tin next to the coffee. Up in this cabinet, the Polish stoneware that we use every day. And in this cabinet, more Polish stoneware and some Terremoto. And that wonderful measuring spoon chicken and the salt and pepper shakers. And more stoneware. and Ray Dunn mugs. And y'all know up here, some of my prized possessions. I just love these Valentine ones. And here are a few more of the Valentine hankies. And there is a cute little girl washing dishes, vintage Valentine. If you ever see these at a good price, grab them up, because right now on eBay they're anywhere from $100 up to $200 and more. So I'm thankful that I have these. And there's another one of my pig cutting boards. And just has some Valentine towels and pot holders. And there's the home that Vicky gave us years ago. And that little chicken cup. And some red and white spatulas. And that pig we got at a yard sale. And I put another little vintage Valentine hanky and a little Valentine coming out of the spice drawers. And my little chicken or rooster creamer. And that sign. Okay, this is all of the Valentine kitchen tour. I hope you have loved seeing the complete kitchen. I've enjoyed putting it together, and I always love sharing with y'all. So enjoy the rest of your day, enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you again soon. Love and blessings to y'all from me and John and baby boy. Excuse me. Till the next time. Bye-bye.